Hey guys, hope you are doing well. Today I am out doing a demo ride on a KTM 390 Adventure. I cannot flat foot this thing, so this looks like a non-adjustable windscreen on here. Foot pegs are rubberized, but it looks like you can probably take them out if you're doing some off-road stuff. On my last video, I was out doing a test ride on a Honda NC750X, which I ended up putting a deposit down on. But the KTM 390 was the other bike that I was hoping to ride that day, but they ended up selling it before I got there. So as luck would have it, I noticed on the KTM website that they had an event coming around the country, and it just happened to be in the Phoenix area this weekend. So I came on down and signed up, and I'm on the first demo ride out here. So this is supposed to be about a 25-30 minute track. Whew. Well, the riding position is really good on this one. Notice that right off the bat, and the brakes as well. Now, of course, this is a lower cc bike, and you know, I generally go for something that has a little more power. And right away, you'll notice that it revs really, really high in the lower gears. This is meant to skip through those gears pretty quick. Now, let's talk about shifting. There is a nice prominent click when you shift gears. On this particular bike, the clutch lever is a little bit far out for my personal taste, but it's not bad. Now, there is quite a bit of vibration in here at higher revs. Like right now, I'm in fourth, doing about 4,000 RPMs, and there's quite a bit of vibration on the chassis and through the handlebars. But you gotta kind of expect that with a little thumper like this. Now, you do get a flashing light here when it wants you to shift. I really like the display on here. It's pretty easy to read. I've got the sun right behind me right now, and I don't have any problem seeing the screen at all. Now, comfort and ergonomics. Again, I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I'm not able to flat foot this completely, but I don't have any trouble, you know, putting a whole foot down. I might have to scoot off the seat ever so slightly, or I can touch on both sides with the balls of my feet. And I am 6 feet tall, about 210 pounds, and I don't see any problems with the suspension or anything like that for somebody of my size or weight. So far, I have yet to have to put a foot down at any lights here or stop signs. So it's pretty well balanced. You know, you can roll to a pretty slow crawl and not really have to put your foot down. It's very easy to balance in low speeds. Now the seat on this bike, it's not bad. It's not super comfortable, but I'm sure there'd be some aftermarket options, and I would probably be interested in putting one of those on if I ended up picking up this bike. And the windscreen, it's cutting quite a bit of air like right off my face, but I am getting it like on my shoulders, so it's kind of coming around the sides here a little bit, and maybe a little bit up from the bottom. But it does okay. Again, I would probably put some kind of a little bit taller aftermarket solution on here if I were to pick this bike up for myself. Mirror vibration, it's not too terrible. You can still see what you're looking at out of there. It's better off when you're in lower RPMs though. Engine braking is, it's okay. It's not the greatest. I wouldn't rely on it. I gotta say, I'm really happy with the clutch control on here. I was having some trouble when I drove that NC750X a couple weeks ago. You know, it kept getting stuck in neutral every time I would downshift. I don't know if it was the clutch lever was just out of adjustment or the clutch itself. I don't know what was wrong with that thing, but I had a hell of a time shifting. You know, I've been riding for a couple years. I've never had as much difficulty shifting as I did on that Honda. I did put a deposit down on that bike, and I mentioned that previously, but I did choose the DCT version, which is Honda's dual clutch transmission. You know, the funny thing is, partly it was because of the bad shifting experience that I had on that test bike, but at the same time, you know, I have driven a DCT model from Honda before, and it was an older model. I think it was a 2017, and I liked it a lot. It's really nice to kind of be able to just ride a motorcycle in automatic mode and not have to worry about shifting and stuff. But I still love, you know, riding with a manual transmission. You know, I have a feeling that if I do get that Honda, that I'm going to be looking at something like this bike as a secondary bike, you know, something to have fun on the weekends and stuff. The Honda is kind of an all-arounder, but you know, it really can't do off-road. I wouldn't trust it to do off-road, especially with the new advancements that they've done to it recently. Lowered the suspension a little bit, lowered the seat a little bit. I'm not sure about the ground clearance on it, to be honest, but they kind of took a little bit of the bite out of it as far as the off-road capabilities, from what it seems. I'll have to do some more research and you know, get some more information on it and, you know, test it out. I do still plan on buying it, but really impressed with this KTM so far. This is the first demo ride that I've ever gone on as part of a sponsored event. I'm giving myself props for that one, because I'm trying to get out there and experience more things and, you know, get more involved with the motorcycle community local. So, you know, it's kind of cool. You get around and talking to some people, you know, everybody shares at least one thing in common. Now, of course, this bike leans pretty good. We haven't done any real tight corners on it yet, but it's very maneuverable. Got nice wide handlebars on here. I'm coming off of riding a Harley Street Bob. It was a 2020. Kind of the reason I decided to trade the Harley in is that although I really enjoy the cruiser bikes, I noticed one thing in particular that was kind of bugging me, and it's a personal thing. You know, I've got some lower back issues, pretty severe, and you know, riding on the bikes with the lower seat height like that was just really uncomfortable for me. And it didn't matter what kind of seat that I got, I was always struggling with it. So, you know, I did a couple test rides on some taller bikes and noticed that it didn't feel as bad. And, you know, if I can make some changes to keep myself, you know, riding a little bit longer, then I'm going to do it. So, unfortunately, you know, the Harley had to go. I don't know if I'm going to get another Harley ever. It all depends on I guess, on the model. But, you know, I'm definitely going to check them out, of course. I'm not ruling anything out. And you know, I'm not too much into the sport bikes. I like the way they look, but again, you know, with back issues, it's really hard to find one that's going to be comfortable for my particular situation. So that leaves the adventure bikes or the sport touring. And Honda actually has a 750X listed on their adventure category, but depending on who you talk to, they refer to it as a sport touring. So, you know, it's definitely got some sporty features on it. It's got rear set, you know, pegs, so your feet are up a little and back, kind of like this one. But I've been really happy with the experience the last couple test rides that I've done. You know, that Honda and this bike are both definitely options for me. Maybe both. So I would love to try my hand at some of this off-road stuff out here. Wow, this bike is a lot of fun. Definitely has enough power for what you need to do. I mean, you know, it didn't take me too long to catch up to the group there. For me personally, I don't think I would get this as my primary bike. As much fun as it is, I'm not sure about it. I mean, the price point is there. It's a couple $1,000s cheaper than the Honda that I'm looking at. I think this is around $6,000, $6,300, something like that. The one thing that I'd like my primary bike to have is the option to ride it long distances, which is something I wouldn't recommend on this one. Even if you kitted this thing out with some storage and you know, a windscreen, a higher windscreen on here, it's still going to be a little bit uncomfortable because of the vibrations, I would suspect. If you're trying to do sustained highway speeds on this thing, I don't really think it would be that comfortable for a long period of time. But man, is this fun for like local around town stuff. Zipping through some back roads and whatnot. Could probably do some hooligan stuff on here too. I think we're getting close to getting back to the Phoenix Raceway, so you know, I'm gonna do some closing thoughts on here right now while still on the bike. Really like it a lot. This one just really surprised me. You know, I kind of suspected it. I've watched a bunch of videos and stuff, and I know what the bike is capable of from other people's point of view, but until you get on it and test it for yourself, you never really know. And yes, I would definitely buy this bike. I would absolutely buy this as a secondary bike, probably not as a primary, but you know, it would hold me over for most things, unless, you know, except for long distance rides, of course. It is a beautiful day out here in Phoenix, Arizona. Perfect day for a demo ride. Alright guys, well, we're approaching the speedway, so the demo ride is almost over, but I'd like to thank you for watching today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, click that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Thank you to KTM and to the sponsors, Nash Power Sports and Go AZ Motorcycles, for sponsoring the event today, giving me this opportunity to test ride the KTM 390 Adventure. See you guys in the next one.